Ivory roses, Sophie said, tapping the florist's catalog. They'll match the church. Emily leaned across our kitchen table. White lilies would look softer. What do you think, Daniel? I looked at Sophie's hand resting over her swollen stomach. Whatever makes Sophie happy. That answer will make you a peaceful husband, Emily teased. Or a frightened one, Sophie said. I smiled because they expected me to. Inside, I was counting again. 28 weeks pregnant. I had been in Edinburgh when the doctor claimed conception had probably happened. Sophie had explained that medical dates were estimates. You're staring, she murmured. I'm admiring you. Liar. You're worried about the wedding. 3 days is not much time. Emily closed the catalog. Everything important is ready. The flowers, the dress, the nervous groom. And our baby, Sophie added. Our perfect little family. The word "our" struck the doubt I had buried for months. My father had doubted everyone until suspicion poisoned our home. Before he died, I promised myself I would never become him. That promise made every question feel shameful. I accepted the rushed engagement, the changing due date, and the way Sophie hid her phone whenever I entered a room. Trust felt like love. Doubt felt like betrayal. I never imagined that trusting her might destroy me. My phone rang. Unknown number. I said. Ignore it, Sophie replied. We still need a cake flavor. I answered anyway. Daniel Whitmore speaking. Mr. Whitmore, this is Dr. Amelia Clark from St. Anne's Hospital. Can you speak privately? I stood. Give me a moment. Sophie's smile disappeared. Who is it? The hospital. Her fingers tightened around the catalog. Why are they calling you? I stepped into the hall. I'm alone now, doctor. I need you to come in today. There are results from the prenatal genetic screening that require a private discussion. Is the baby ill? I cannot explain this properly over the telephone. Sophie should come with me. Please come alone, Mr. Whitmore. I stared through the doorway. Sophie was watching me. What time? I asked. As soon as possible. When the call ended, Sophie rushed toward me. What did she say? Dr. Clark wants to see me alone. Her face drained of color. Sophie, what's wrong? Nothing. It's probably a mistake. You don't know what she wants. Hospitals make mistakes every day. Emily frowned. Why are you shaking? I'm not. Sophie folded her arms. Daniel, don't go. Call back tomorrow. If our baby is in danger, I'm going now. Our baby, she repeated softly. Remember that. The drive to the hospital passed through cold rain. Sophie called 4 times, but I ignored every call. Her panic awakened each doubt I had buried, and every unanswered ring made me grip the steering wheel harder. At St. Anne's, Dr. Clark met me in a quiet consultation room. A sealed envelope lay beside her computer. Tell me the baby is safe, I said. The screening shows no immediate medical danger to the child. Then why am I here? She removed her glasses. Did you and Miss Bennett request additional paternity comparison during testing? Sophie said it was routine. It is not routine. She signed the request after a possible inherited condition appeared in her family history. My throat tightened. What did you find? We repeated the test twice to rule out laboratory error. Stop preparing me. Just say it. You cannot be the biological father of Miss Bennett's baby. The room seemed to tilt. No, I whispered. She promised me. I'm sorry. How certain are you? More than 99.9%. I stood so quickly that my chair scraped the floor. I need to leave. Mr. Whitmore, please sit down. There is nothing else to discuss. There is. I reached for the door. The DNA result is not the most serious thing we found. I froze. Dr. Clark pushed the sealed report across the desk. This concerns you, your family, and whoever fathered that child. I looked at my name printed on the envelope. What could be worse than learning my fiancé is carrying another man's baby? Her expression tightened. Open it, she said. Then decide whether Sophie is the only person who has been lying to you. My fingers would not open the envelope. Tell me what it says, I demanded. Dr. Clark folded her hands. The baby shares a significant amount of DNA with you. You just said I'm not the father. You aren't. Then how can the DNA match? The pattern suggests the biological father is one of your close male relatives. Most likely a brother, half-brother, or possibly your father. I pushed the report away. My father died 6 years ago. Do you have brothers? No. I was an only child. Are you certain? What kind of question is that? A necessary one. I stood, then forced myself down again. There is nobody. My uncles are dead. My cousins live abroad. Sophie has never met them. Then someone has hidden an important fact from you. You said the report concerned me. She opened the envelope and turned one page toward me. Your current blood type is a positive. Your childhood records list you as O negative. Records contain errors. One error is possible. Several matching records are harder to dismiss. What are you suggesting? Only that documents submitted under your name may not belong to you. You need a full genetic history and a conversation with your mother. The page blurred before me. I had believed Sophie's betrayal was the whole nightmare. Now my past felt unstable. I pictured my mother guarding boxes of records and wondered whether she had protected me from something or protected herself from me. My mother would never lie about my family. Dr. Clark held my gaze. Someone already has. Traffic lights held me back. I wanted to call my mother, yet fear stopped me. One conversation could erase everything I believed about childhood. I decided to confront the lie I could see before chasing the one hidden in my blood. I drove home with the report hidden beneath my coat. Sophie waited beside the window. Where were you? She asked. You know where. Did they find something wrong with the baby? I locked the door behind me. Who is the father? Her lips parted. What? Don't make me ask twice. Daniel, you're frightening me. The baby is not mine. Who is the father? She gripped the back of a chair. The test must be wrong. They repeated it. Hospitals make mistakes. You said that before I left. You already knew. I suspected. I wasn't certain. Say his name. Tears filled her eyes. I don't know his name. You expect me to believe that? It happened once after a work party. I drank too much. I woke up in a hotel room and panicked. Which hotel? I can't remember. Where was the party? Near Deansgate. What did he look like? Please stop questioning me. You planned to marry me while carrying his child. I love you. Love does not need this many lies. The doorbell rang before she could answer. Were you expecting someone? I asked. No. I opened the door. Oliver Hayes stood outside holding a bottle of whiskey. Emily called me, he said. She said something happened at the hospital. That was quick. You're my best mate. Let me in. When Oliver entered, I looked at Sophie. Terror flashed across her face before she lowered her eyes. What's wrong? Oliver asked. The baby isn't mine. He stared at Sophie. Is that true? Daniel misunderstood the result, she said. I understood perfectly. Oliver touched my shoulder. Mate, I'm sorry. His voice sounded sincere, but I remembered every business trip during the pregnancy. Oliver had checked on Sophie whenever I was away. He had called it friendship. His face seemed like a mask. I remembered giving him a key, asking him to repair the leaking tap, and thanking him for bringing Sophie groceries. Each memory changed shape. I hated suspecting him, but hated his perfect timing more. Pour us a drink, I said. He filled 2 glasses. Sophie watched his hands. Did she tell you who it was? He asked. A nameless stranger. Then throw her out. Sophie flinched. You don't mean that. Oliver drank quickly. She betrayed you. Yes, I said. Someone did. When he went to answer a call, I wrapped his used glass in a clean kitchen towel and slipped it inside my coat. Sophie saw me. What are you doing? She whispered. Finding the truth. She caught my wrist. Daniel, if you keep searching, you'll destroy more than our wedding. I looked toward Oliver, then back at her. Whose life am I about to destroy? Grace Morgan examined Oliver's glass inside a clear evidence bag. You touched only the base? She asked. Yes. And you watched him drink from it? Twice. Good. The laboratory can compare his sample with your report, but a private result is not automatically court evidence. I need the truth before I need a courtroom. The rush fee is expensive. Pay it. Grace studied me. Are you ready for what this could prove? I stopped being ready when the hospital called. 2 days later, she met me outside my mother's house. I remained in my car while rain tapped the windscreen. Say it. I told her. Grace handed me the report. Oliver is the baby's biological father. I gripped the steering wheel. I knew it. There's more. The laboratory compared his profile with yours. How close is the match? Oliver Hayes is your paternal half-brother. Every memory with Oliver changed. Our study sessions, holidays, and promises had never begun by chance. He entered my life carrying a hidden name, while I welcomed him without knowing blood already connected us. I laughed once, but no humor came with it. That's impossible. The probability is above 99.8%. Everyone keeps giving me percentages as if numbers hurt less than names. Grace touched my arm. Ask your mother. I entered the house without knocking. Margaret Whitmore appeared in the hall. Daniel? What happened? I placed Oliver's report on her table. Who is Helen Hayes? My mother stopped breathing for a moment. Answer me. Where did you hear that name? Her son fathered Sophie's baby. Oliver. My best friend. My brother. She lowered herself into a chair. Your father knew Helen before he met me. Did he have a son with her? Yes. The word struck harder than any denial. You knew. I learned after our wedding. Helen brought Oliver to the house. Your father told her to leave. Why? He feared scandal. He paid her for several years, then stopped. And you let me believe I had no brother. Your father made me promise. He's dead. Why did you keep protecting him? I thought I was protecting you. From what? Knowing someone needed me. She reached for my hand. I stepped away. Did Oliver know? I asked. Helen told him everything. She raised him alone. He met me at university on purpose. I remembered begging for a brother whenever childhood felt lonely. My mother said I was enough. Now that answer felt cruel. A brother had existed, growing up rejected while I slept beneath my father's roof. My mother began crying. Daniel, I'm sorry. Sorry cannot return 12 stolen years. Driving there, anger fought grief. I understood why he hated our father, but not why he had punished me. I rehearsed threats and questions, yet none seemed powerful enough for 12 years of deception. I found Oliver that evening inside his office. He looked at the DNA report and smiled. Finally, he said, you knew from the beginning. I recognized your surname during our first lecture. You pretended to be my friend. I became the brother nobody allowed me to be. Brothers don't sleep with each other's fiancées. His smile vanished. You had his name, his money, and his love. I had nothing. I never took anything from you. You were born holding what I was denied. So Sophie was revenge, at first, and later, she became my entrance into the family. Once the baby arrived, you would raise my child beneath our father's roof. You wanted to watch me live your lie. I wanted something of mine inside, everything you owned. The affair felt smaller than the friendship. Sophie stole my future, but Oliver poisoned my past. I could not recall happy moments without wondering if he had waited for the right place to cut me. I wanted to hit him, but my hands stayed at my sides. Every birthday, every drink, every time you call me brother, was any of it real? Some of it. That answer is worse than no. My phone rang. Grace's name appeared. Daniel, she said, I checked the joint account you mentioned. What did you find? Sophie has transferred money into a company registered to Oliver. Regular payments started 11 months ago. I stared at him. He remained calm. How much? Nearly 60,000 pounds. Oliver reached for his coat. I blocked the door. The baby wasn't your only way into my family, was it? He met my eyes. No, he said. It was only the safest one. I left Oliver's office without striking him. By morning, I had canceled the wedding, frozen the joint account, and packed one suitcase. Sophie stood between me and the front door. You cannot leave me like this. Move. We can fix this. You gave my money to Oliver. He said it was an investment. You transferred nearly 60,000 pounds. I plan to return it. With what? She touched her stomach. Think about the baby. You should have done that before using him as a weapon. Her face hardened. If you walk out, everyone will know what kind of man you are. Tell them the truth. Truth depends on who speaks first. I placed my key beside her engagement ring. Both objects had promised safety. Now they felt like evidence from a crime scene. Leaving hurt, but staying would have meant accepting a life built around their plan. Priya Shah opened her spare flat to me that afternoon. She placed clean towels on the sofa. "Stay as long as you need," she said. "I'll find somewhere soon." "Daniel, stop apologizing for taking up space." My phone vibrated with messages. "Coward. How could you abandon a pregnant woman?" "Sophie says the baby may be sick." Priya read my expression. "What has she told people?" "That I left because the baby might be ill." "Will you correct them?" "Not yet. Every lie she tells becomes evidence of who she is." By evening, 6 friends had blocked me. I wanted to defend myself. Yet exposing the paternity result would shame an unborn child. Sophie understood that weakness. She used my silence as proof and my decency as a cage. Grace called the next morning. "I traced another payment," she said. £8,000 went from Oliver's company to Callum Reed. "Who is he?" "A mechanic. He worked at the garage that inspected your car after the motorway crash." My injured shoulder began aching as if my body remembered before my mind did. "My brakes failed," I said. "2 months ago?" "Yes. I hit the barrier near Stockport. The police called it mechanical failure." The crash returned in pieces. The useless pedal, the barrier rushing toward me, and Sophie crying beside my hospital bed. I believed her tears came from fear. Now I wondered whether disappointment had been hiding behind them. Callum signed the inspection report. "Find him." We met Callum inside a quiet cafe near his garage. He kept looking toward the windows. Grace placed copies of the payment records before him. "Why did Oliver Hayes pay you?" "Consulting work." I leaned closer. "Did you touch my brakes?" "I service hundreds of cars." "Mine nearly killed me." His hands started shaking. "Callum," Grace said, "we can take this to the police without your explanation." He said Daniel barely drove. My stomach turned. "Oliver paid you to weaken the brake line. He wanted a small leak. He said the car would fail near home. I drove to Birmingham. I didn't know. You took the money. I had debts. Oliver promised nobody would die." Grace set her phone on the table. "Start again. This conversation is being recorded." Callum stared at me. "Will you protect me? Tell me everything." "Oliver said the accident had to happen before your wedding, but not too early. He wanted you frightened and dependent on Sophie." "Why before the wedding?" "I don't know." Grace slid another document toward me. "I do. Daniels will leave his house, savings, and company shares to his wife." I looked at her. Sophie saw my will when we met the solicitor. The payment date matched the week before my crash. I saw their design. "Frighten me, marry me, inherit everything, and raise Oliver's child with my money." What I called terrible luck was only their first failed attempt. Callum covered his face. "Oliver said there might be a second job after the ceremony." "A second job? If the first accident didn't weaken you enough." The cafe noises faded. Sophie had not merely chosen another man. She had stood beside my hospital bed, kissed my forehead, and whispered that I was lucky to survive. Meanwhile, she had been waiting to become my wife. "They planned my death," I said. Grace nodded. "We need the police immediately." Callum grabbed her phone. "Delete the recording." I caught his wrist. "Let go." "You don't understand." "Then explain." His eyes fixed on someone beyond the window. "Oliver knows you're investigating," he whispered. "He won't wait for you to reach the police." Detective Inspector Nathan Brooks listened to Callum's recording twice. "It gives us direction," he said, "but not enough for an attempted murder charge." He confessed. Informally, without legal safeguards. "We need him interviewed officially." Grace checked her phone. "Callum missed our meeting this morning." "Find him," Brooks said. "I've tried. His flat is empty." I leaned across the desk. "Oliver frightened him into hiding." "Probably," Brooks replied. "But probability doesn't secure warrants." "What about the payments?" "They support fraud. They don't prove who damaged your brakes." "So Oliver walks freely?" "For now. Keep away from him and contact me if anything changes." The investigation fell backward. Callum described the crime, Grace traced payment, and I carried scars, yet Oliver remained protected by gaps between facts. I understood why victims stopped believing that justice would arrive. I returned to Priya's flat angry enough to break something. Instead, I found Sophie waiting outside. "How did you find me?" I asked. Emily told me. Leave. Please give me 5 minutes. Priya opened the door behind me. Do you want her here? I need to hear what she says. Inside, Sophie began crying before she sat down. Oliver controlled me, she said. He knew I was afraid of losing you. So you slept with him? He kept saying you would become like your father. Cold, suspicious, cruel. You helped him steal from me. He said the money would protect the baby. From whom? From you if you discovered the truth. Her voice shook. For one painful moment, I saw the woman I had planned to marry. I remembered her holding my hand after the crash and sleeping beside my hospital bed. Did you ever love me? I asked. I still do. She reached toward me, and her sleeve slipped back. My father's silver watch circled her wrist. I had kept that watch in my locked study. It disappeared after the crash, when Oliver visited our house while I recovered. Sophie had blamed the cleaner. The watch hurt more than money. My father wore it during birthdays and graduations. Sophie knew its meaning. Wearing it while asking forgiveness showed she was comfortable with betrayal and no longer recognized its evidence. Where did you get that? I asked. She covered it. You gave it to me. Did I? Last Christmas. Don't you remember? I remembered every scratch on its face. I also understood why my locked desk had been opened. My will had been inside it. I activated the recorder on my phone beneath the table. Maybe I have judged you too quickly, I said. Priya stared at me, but remained silent. Sophie moved closer. We can still be a family, only if you tell me everything about the money. Oliver created the company. He told me to transfer small amounts, so you wouldn't notice. How often? Every month. Did you sign my name? Twice. I'm sorry. And the break line? Her face tightened. That was Oliver. You knew about it. Not before it happened. But afterward, he said he only wanted to scare you. Why did you search my study? She stood. Who told you that? You just did. I stopped the recording. Sophie's tears vanished. You trapped me. You planned my funeral. Oliver planned it. You stayed. Because he threatened to expose the baby. Leave before I forget who I am. She rushed out. I followed her to the corridor, imagining how easily I could frighten her into betraying Oliver. I wanted to promise protection, feed her lies, and turn their fear against them until neither could sleep. My anger wanted punishment. I imagined destroying Oliver's company, exposing Sophie publicly, and making my mother confess everything. Each image gave me control, then shame. Their cruelty was teaching me to enjoy fear. Priya caught my arm. What are you planning? I can use her. She's terrified of him, and terrified people make dangerous choices. They tried to kill me. Give the truth to the law, Daniel. Don't let their darkness decide who you become. The law is waiting for perfect evidence while Oliver destroys witnesses. Then help Brooks build the case. Revenge will make you another suspect. I looked at my phone. The recording could prove fraud and connect Sophie to the search for my will. You're right, I said. I'll send everything to Brooks. Priya released my arm. That choice may save you. My phone vibrated before I could forward the file. An unknown number had sent a photograph. Grace was tied to a chair beneath a hanging warehouse light. Blood marked her temple. A message appeared below the image. Bring every report and recording alone, or she dies. I called Grace. Her phone rang beside her in the photograph. Another message arrived. You wanted the truth, brother. Now come and pay for it. I showed Oliver's messages to Inspector Brooks. You are not going alone, he said. That is exactly what he demanded. Kidnappers demand control. We don't give it to them. Grace is bleeding. Brooks placed a small transmitter beside the financial records. Wear this beneath your shirt. My officers will remain outside until we hear Grace or see immediate danger. What if Oliver searches me? Keep him talking. We need his location confirmed before moving. If the signal fails? I asked. Say Grace's name twice. That is our emergency command. And if he attacks first? We enter. Trust us. I trusted Oliver for 12 years. Trust the transmitter then. Priya caught my hand. Promise you won't try to punish him yourself. I promise I'll bring Grace home. That isn't what I asked. I could not give her the answer she wanted. The abandoned warehouse stood beyond Manchester beneath a dead railway bridge. I entered carrying a case filled with copied records. Oliver, I called. I brought everything. A hanging light flickered on. Grace sat tied to a chair. Blood darkened her hair. Daniel, leave, she shouted. Oliver stepped from behind her holding a knife. Put the case down. Release her first. You still think you can negotiate. You wanted me here. Tell me why. You know why. I know Father rejected you. I don't know why that made me your enemy. His jaw tightened. He stole my childhood, and you lived inside it. I was a child too. A child with his surname, holidays, schools, and inheritance. Did you ever want me as family? I did meet you. No. You studied me. I watched you own everything I wanted. You could have told me. And risk rejection? I became necessary instead. Destroying me cannot repair what he did. It corrects the balance. By killing me? By taking everything he gave you. While he spoke, I saw Grace twisting one wrist against the rope. Was our friendship ever real? I asked. Oliver glanced away. It became real sometimes. That made hating you harder. Then stop. Too late. It is only too late if you hurt Grace. A metal door slammed behind me. Oliver. Sophie hurried inside. Why weren't you answering? He swore. You shouldn't be here. Your passport is gone. The account is empty. You plan to leave without me. Go home, Sophie. After everything I did, you promised Daniel would live, Sophie said. He survived. You promised nobody would suffer. Grace interfered. You promised me a family. Oliver lifted steel. Promises are tools. Sophie, you understand that better than anyone. You transferred money and opened doors. Don't confuse usefulness with importance. She stared at him. You said we would raise our son together. He laughed. You were nothing but a useful door into Daniel's life. Sophie's face collapsed, then hardened. Tell him the truth, I said. Tell him what happened to my brakes. Be quiet, Oliver warned. Sophie looked at me. Oliver arranged it. He paid Callum to damage the brake line. Sophie, he told me after the crash. He said the next attempt would happen after our wedding. Oliver lunged toward her. I struck his arm, and the knife skidded across the floor. Grace pulled one hand free. Daniel, behind you. Oliver drove his shoulder into my chest. We crashed against a workbench, knocking over a fuel container and a portable heater. Flames raced across the floor. Run, I shouted. Grace tore away the remaining rope. Sophie helped her toward the exit while Oliver punched me against a support post. You ruined everything, he yelled. You ruined yourself. I shoved him back. A burning beam fell between us, trapping his leg beneath broken timber. Daniel, Grace called from the doorway. Come now. Smoke filled my throat. Oliver reached toward me. Help me, brother. For one terrible second, I imagined walking away. Fire could deliver the revenge I had refused to take. Nobody would blame me. Then Priya's warning returned. Their darkness did not have to decide who I became. I crossed the flames, lifted the timber, and pulled Oliver free. Why? He coughed. Because I am not you. Police lights flooded the warehouse. Brooks and armed officers surrounded us as I dragged Oliver outside. Brooks forced him to the ground. Oliver Hayes, you are under arrest. Oliver looked up at me through smoke and tears. You should have left me. I watched the handcuffs close around his wrists. No, I said. You will live long enough to answer for everything. Inspector Brooks met me outside the warehouse ambulance. Oliver will be charged with attempted murder, kidnapping, fraud, and conspiracy, he said. What about Sophie? Her confession reached us through your transmitter. She cooperated afterward, so prosecutors may reduce her charges. Will Sophie be imprisoned? That depends on the court. Cooperation cannot erase her actions. It won't. It may change punishment, not her record. And my house. Your solicitor secured it. Sophie waived claims. She wanted it after I died. Now she leaves with nothing. She helped plan my death. She claims she learned about the second attempt only after your crash. Do you believe her? My belief doesn't decide her sentence. Evidence does. Grace touched the bandage on her temple. Callum can prove more. If he is still alive, I said. Brooks nodded. We found him hiding in Liverpool this morning. Callum's official statement confirmed the payments, the damaged brake line, and Oliver's plan for another accident after my wedding. Sophie surrendered her claim to my house and returned what remained of the stolen money. Her friends stopped defending her when the charges became public. None of it restored my trust. Callum's capture should have brought relief, but his statement made everything real. He described payments and instructions. Details turned memories into evidence. The crash was no longer a nightmare. It was an attempt planned by people who shared my table. 2 weeks later, my mother came to Priya's flat. "May I enter?" she asked. "For 5 minutes." Margaret sat opposite me. "I should have told you about Oliver." "Yes. Your father threatened to leave us if I contacted Helen." "So you chose comfort." "I chose you." "No. You chose the life he paid for." She lowered her eyes. "I was afraid. Helen was afraid too, but she raised Oliver alone. I sent her money after your father stopped. Did you ever visit him?" "No." "Did you ask what he needed?" "No." "Then money was another way to keep him silent." She began crying. "Can you forgive me?" "Not today." "Will you ever?" "I don't know." Your silence did not create Oliver's choices, but it gave his resentment years to grow. I understand. Understanding is where you begin, not where you are forgiven. Months passed before Sophie contacted me. Her message contained only 4 words. "Noah has been born. I went to St. Anne's Hospital because the child was innocent." Sophie held him against her chest when I entered. "You came," she whispered. "Is he healthy?" "Yes. His name is Noah." I looked at his tiny hands and felt grief for a future that had never truly belonged to me. "Would you hold him?" she asked. "No. You were meant to be his father. You meant for me to believe I was. I know the difference now. Knowing it now changes nothing. He needs someone good. Oliver may spend years in prison. Noah needs honesty, not another lie. Please, Daniel. I have nobody. You had me." Her tears fell onto the blanket. "I destroyed everything." "Yes. Do you hate him because he is Oliver's son?" "No. Noah did not betray me. He did not steal, lie, or plan anyone's death." "Then help me raise him. I will not become his father. But if anyone tries to make him carry Oliver's shame, I will tell them the truth. Children do not inherit guilt." "Will you tell Noah about Oliver?" "When he is older. Don't let strangers tell him." "I won't." "Never say I rejected him." "What should I say?" "Say I refused the lie, not him." Sophie nodded slowly. "I can do that." Sophie kissed Noah's forehead. "That is more kindness than I deserve." "It is not for you." She looked down. "Regret cannot rebuild what I destroyed, can it?" "No. It can only stop you from destroying what remains." On Oliver's court date, officers led him past me in handcuffs. He paused. "Why did you save me?" he asked. "You already know." "Because you wanted me punished?" "Because I won't become you." He searched my face. "Do you think that makes you better than me?" "No. My choices do." I thought justice would feel victorious. Instead, it felt heavy. Oliver faced justice. Sophie faced ruin. And my mother faced distance. I faced something harder. Living without allowing their lies to control my future choices. The officers pulled him toward the courtroom. I watched without triumph. Justice did not erase the betrayal, but it returned ownership of my life to me. 1 year after the warehouse fire, Inspector Brooks called me outside the courthouse. "Oliver received 18 years, he said. "Will he appeal?" "Probably. The evidence is strong." And Sophie, a suspended sentence, repayment order, travel restrictions, and supervised contact with Oliver. Her cooperation reduced the punishment. Is Noah safe? Social services found no reason to remove him. Does Sophie blame Oliver? She accepts her role now. That repairs nothing. No, but it may prevent another crime. Has she asked about me? Several times. What did you say? That your life is no longer part of her sentence. I thanked Brooks and ended the call. Oliver's sentence brought no celebration. A number of years could not return the years built on lies. Priya joined me outside the house Sophie and I had chosen together. "The buyer signed everything," she said. "Are you ready to hand over the keys?" "I have been ready since the hospital called." Then why do you look sad? Because I once loved what this place promised. Selling it does not erase that. No, it stops the promise from owning me. I used part of the money to establish a support fund for victims of financial and domestic manipulation. Grace agreed to help applicants collect evidence safely. You could keep all of this, she told me. I already kept enough. Why create a fund? Because Callum's recording nearly arrived too late. Other victims need help before their evidence disappears. What will you call it? The Second Door Fund. Grace smiled. Because there's always another way out? Because nobody should believe the door behind them is the only one. Will this help people without police reports? Grace asked. Especially them. Some will return to their abusers. Then we help again. Some will hide facts. Fear makes honesty difficult. You judge less. Surviving taught me what fear makes people accept. Priya became my closest companion, but she never treated my healing like a debt I owed her. Later, she asked, Are you afraid of loving someone again? Yes. Are you afraid of me? No. That makes this harder. We don't have to name anything yet. You deserve certainty. I deserve honesty. You're giving me that. I cannot replace Sophie with you. I would never ask you to. I realized healing was not finding another person to cover an old wound. It was learning to stand without hiding the scar. My mother visited the following week carrying a yellowed envelope. Your father wrote this to Oliver, she said. He never sent it. What does it say? That he regretted abandoning him. Regret did not make him act. Perhaps Oliver should read it. Perhaps he should have received it as a child. Margaret placed the letter in my hand. What will you do? I opened it and read only the first line. I hope one day you understand why I chose silence. I carried the letter to the fireplace. Daniel, wait. My mother said, Dead men's excuses cannot repair living people. It is part of our history. So is the damage caused by protecting it. I dropped the letter into the flames. The paper curled until my father's words became ash. My mother removed his silver watch from her bag. Sophie returned this through her solicitor. I fastened it around my wrist. I thought you hated what it represented, she said. It no longer represents inheritance. What does it represent? Time. Every lie believes it can hide forever, but time reveals the truth. Was burning the letter forgiveness? Priya asked later. No, it was release. Forgiven your mother? Not completely. Have you forgiven yourself? For trusting them? For blaming yourself afterward? I considered her question. I am learning. Forgiveness needs time, not permission. Months later, Priya and I stood beside the River Thames beneath the evening lights. What are you thinking? She asked. That I wanted revenge to save me. Did it? No. Truth saved me. Restraint saved me. Walking away saved me. And what happens now? I looked at the watch, then at the river carrying darkness toward the sea. Now I choose what comes next. Priya offered her hand. Would you like company? I took it without making promises I was not ready to keep. Yes, I said. But we walked slowly. Slowly is still forward. They had tried to steal my future through blood, love, and fear. They failed. My life was no longer the ruins they left behind. It was the life I chose to build.